Welcome to Tatanka's living room, where anything can happen and often does. I'm Tatanka.
I am Carol.
And Carol has a few things to say.
Now?
No, not yet.
No, I had other things. Oh! But Tatanka's going to talk with you while I go get my notes.
All right, so the theme tonight is love and resistance. We all live in challenging times. We approach life with love. And in the process of that, there are forces that try to keep us separate from our true selves, keep us separated from other people, keep us separated from the planet. So, when you love, you draw a line. I mean, if somebody is taking you away from love, if somebody is compelling you to do something that your conscience says no, you draw a line. That creates resistance. And resistance is the wind under our wings, right? We lead with love, we follow love, which is light, which is the energetic of the entire universe. It is so much more powerful than everything we give power away to. Hey. So we have some artists here who will grace you with the love of their craft, with their poetry, with their music, with their humor, with their choice of words and their choice of tones. And we appreciate the artists among us because they bring us back to ourselves. Okay, Carol.
Ooh, that sounds good. Well, first I want to say that you are so precious to us. And it is such a wondrous thing that we can come together and come and be a community, and come unity and become unity. Yes? That is so big in our hearts that we create this kind of a space. With everyone here, I mean, this room is filled with healers and artists and
political activists,
astrologers, and people who are standing up for things that really deeply matter. And we love you so much, and we're often all in our space doing this work. So we wanted to create a place where we can all come and honor each other and see each other and listen to each other and be present with each other. And so thank you so much for being a part of this and making those things happen for each other. I also wanted to tell you, oh, I could take a space there. My buddy Donna wanted me to say, Donna there, who's helping facilitate all the little details, that there is parking, just for future reference, after 6 o'clock if you come in at further times. There's parking on the street, but also if this little lot is filled, you can pull into the lot and then turn right, and back on the side road there's lots of parking. Did I say that right, Donna?
After 6 o'clock.
After 6. So just so you know, you don't have to go all over creation to be here with us. Thank you for your wonderful food contributions. Your yum was yum, yum, yummy. And...
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So, I'm the goyle that sits at the desk and asks for people to donate. And I just wanted you to know that. And Marilyn she's waving money in the air. Oh, may it spread and grow, right? I'll tell you that we
It
pay,
look like a magnet.
this may it be magnetic. So we pay hourly rental for this room. We pay hourly rental for the room that we have potluck in, and it adds up. So before we can do our heart's calling to donate to the Romero Institute and their profound work for the water protectors, that's not just for North Dakota, it's for all of the earth, for all of indigenous folk and all of us. It's for all of humanity. That's why we are here. I know Tatanka has plenty to do. He just bopped me on the butt with his thing, with his little drum thing, so he probably is going to talk about that. But I just want you to know that your donations really matter. So it's not that, nothing goes into our pocket. Everything above paying for this room and that room goes to Romero, because our hearts are calling us there.
Thank you, Carol. Carol will be up later to share some of her poetry. All right. So this evening, there are 3 bathrooms out there, right out the door. This program is going to last just a minute or two, under 2.5 hours. We have 10 artists, so take care of yourself, but it goes by very, very quickly. That's only about half the time that we spent in March around our birthday and our anniversary. Went nearly 4 hours. And nearly everybody stayed. It was amazing. It was total fun, and we have some great artists here today. So I'm going to do an invocation, and then there's a couple of people who were supposed to be here that aren't here now. I may interrupt the flow to introduce them. They have a couple of things to say, and I am expecting Sarah Nelson to show up sometime here to update us on what's happening with Romero. So this is the time of the Great Reckoning. It's a time of the age between ages, and I was given a vision 20 years ago, which some of you have heard. Very profound vision, came right in the middle of the day, and I saw what the future was, and I saw the forces of the last several thousand years getting more and more tight, getting more and more authoritarian, getting more and more violent. I experienced the assault on all the worlds, on the air and the water and the earth and the plants and the animals and the humans and the birds and the things under the sea and us. And then I saw a glimpse of the future. And the future, if you focus on what is coming apart, it seems like everything is coming apart. And there are things coming apart, and we have to be deft not to fall underneath the dinosaurs that are coming down, but there is a lot of new growth going on. So we want to keep our attention in the light and in the love, even as we resist things that are not light and not love. So I want to call in, I'm thankful for the Ohlone people, for the Castanoa people, for the Indian Canyon people, for the people whose land this was before it's our land. We honor them. And I call in all the directions. I'm really grateful to Great Spirit to have this sunny day, to be living near the ocean, to have the mountains, to have the redwoods. And I'm going to do something, I'm going to ask you a little different this time. I'm going to share something from one of my traditions with a deer tribe, which is a 20 count, which we use in the sweat lodge. So if you just close your eyes, and then I'll go into a drum song after that. And breathe deeply. So I'm going around the 4 directions, and then the 4 non-cardinal directions, and then the center of the medicine wheel of our bodies, and of this room, and of this earth, and of all that is. And then going to the higher vibration of those 4 directions, and those non-cardinal directions, and the center, and that makes 20. So when I call in an energy, I'm going to start with grandfather's son. We will all say, we are grandfather, son. And I'll go from there. We call in grandfather, son. We are grandfather, son. We call in grandmother earth. We are grandmother earth. We call in the sacred plants. We are the sacred plants. We call in the sacred animals. We are the sacred animals. We call in eyes and ears of all humans. We are eyes and ears of all humans. We call in our sacred ancestors. We are our sacred ancestors. We call in open and closed symbols of the dream. We are open and closed symbols of the dream. We call in cycles, patterns, sacred law. We are cycles, patterns, sacred law. We call in design and choreography of energy. We are design and choreography of energy. We call in the measure of intellect. We are the measure of intellect. We call in the spirits of all our ancestors. We are the spirits of all our ancestors. We call in the Kachinahe, the Karma teachers. We are the Kachinahe, the Karma teachers. We call in our Akashic records. We are our Akashic records. We call in our higher selves. We are our higher selves. We call in Kichi Kahuna. We are Kichi Kahuna. We call in God, Goddess. We are God, Goddess. We call in spirit, energy, the all that is. We are spirit, energy, the all that is. But a few moments, give or take 100 spins around the sun. Perfect love is all there is. We breathe together. Two hearts, one drum. Your tree dances in my gentle breeze. Your back warms in my sun. Perfect love is all there is. We breathe together. Two hearts, one drum. This is so far beyond anything I know. This is so. This is where I am. This is where I want to go. This is so my life turned upside down. Sun below, earth above. Doesn't matter now where we go. Where we are is perfect love. We live but a few moments, give or take 100 spins around the sun. Perfect love is all there is. We breathe together. Two hearts, one drum. Your tree dances in my gentle breeze. Your back warms in my sun. Perfect love is all there is. We breathe together. Two hearts, one drum. Perfect love is where I am. Perfect love is where I want to go. Perfect love is two hearts. All there is, one drum. This is perfect love. This is so all there is. We breathe, two hearts, together, one drum. We breathe, two hearts, together, one drum. Two hearts, one drum. Two hearts, one drum. One drum, one drum, one drum, one drum, one. All right. So, let's see. Let the show begin. Is Drew here right now? No. So he was going to do a little welcome from Resource Center for Nonviolence. Drew Grover is running for City Council. I'm working for him. Find out about him. He is one of our tribe. He belongs in the City Council. And Chris Crone was going to drop by and give a couple-minute update on what's happening in City Council. He may or may not show. Our first act, I'm really proud to say, is Russell Boucher with accompaniment. Yes, let's hear it for an amazing performer. He's back by popular demand. He's played here twice before. He's going to have 15 minutes to work his magic, and we'll take it from there. Welcome, Russell.
Hi, folks.
Hi.
Check 1, 2. Welcome to music heaven, all the stars are here. Everyone who ever made a difference down there. Amadeus Mozart, Johann Sebastian Bach, Michael Jackson, Johnny Cash, classical to rock. Yeah, here they are before you, on display for all. They're the lead attraction once you get behind the wall. Like sentinels of dignity along the boulevard, just beyond the pearly gates here in God's front yard. But should you stray around the back of junkyard, you will see those who never made the grade down through history. And here's the deal about these folks with the names you never knew. Though they have no claim to music fame, they're here in heaven too. A gypsy girl in tattered clothes might be the first you meet. Crystal clear soprano singing on the street. The opera holds auditions, but she doesn't afford to try. So she sings aloud to the crowd of people passing by. Now a garage band concert, red hot rock and roll. Saxophones are blazing, and you know that it's got soul. Or a banjo from the bayou with a Cajun melody. Or an unknown star on steel guitar from Memphis, Tennessee. So welcome to music heaven, pick a spot you'd like to play. That's what everyone else did, that's how it got this way. And God will join your jamming anywhere there's rhythm and rhyme. But lately she's around the back, it's where she spends her time. Welcome to music heaven, all the stars are here. Every soul who ever made a difference down there. Thank you. And welcome to music heaven. And thanks so much to Tatanka and Carol for making this space so that those of us who write songs and those of us who listen to songs and all stages in between can get together. The songs a little more sobering, I guess. Well, it ain't just a human got a song, no, it ain't just a human got a song. Little bird on the wing, high above, hear it sing. It ain't just a human got a song, it ain't just a human got a song. Just a human bears a child, it ain't just a human bears a child. Every creature on earth got a family of birth. It ain't just a human bears a child, no, it ain't just a human bears a child. There's a peacock, there's a pelican tangled in a plastic bag on a beach in Waikiki, and an elephant's body in the African sun for a necklace made of ivory. It ain't just a human got a life, no, it ain't just a human got a life. Cry little bird, it's time you were heard. It ain't just a human got a life, no, it ain't just a human got a life. Oh, the earth will keep spinning for 1 billion more years around the sun and back again, and the moon can shine down on barren ground the same as on a fertile plain. It ain't just a human got a song, no, it ain't just a human got a song. Cry little bird, it's time you've been heard, 'cause it ain't just a human got a song, it ain't just a human got a song. Probably everybody in this room plays a guitar or some effects similar thereof. And I put new strings on a couple days ago. You know how that is. They keep slipping out. Even stole their name. Ben and Jerry, pretty scary, happened just the same. Amazon just bought Whole Foods, will Google buy New Leaf. Can't tell no more between a corporation and a thief. The wrong kind of people moving into the neighborhood. Wrong kind of people moving into the neighborhood. Corporate logo on a neon sign, 24/7 you could see it shine. Wrong kind of people moving into the neighborhood. Big money coming from companies over the hill. Big money coming from companies over the hill. At City Hall, spend a little more, they will own them all. Big money coming from companies over the hill. mom and pop stores closing down. See all the little mom and pop stores closing down. City limit sign gonna pretty soon say, welcome to Anytown, USA. See all the little mom and pop stores closing down. That's all because the wrong kind of people moving into the neighborhood. Wrong kind of people moving into the neighborhood. Folks in the future looking back to now, wishing they could have saved the town somehow, but the wrong kind of people moving into the neighborhood. And with that I'll move up from the local scene into the national front, where it feels just like a fairy tale complete with a wicked king. No one knows the latest blows that each new tweet will bring. Someone hired, someone fired, somebody told a lie. Someone's hand in the cookie jar without an alibi. Maybe it's time, we've been waiting far too long. Maybe it's time, maybe it's time. Comes a time, kings are through. Maybe it's time for you know who. Maybe it's time, maybe it's time. Hard to run a government and run your business too. Hard to concentrate on golf when the whole world's watching you. Hard to snoop through dressing rooms when they all know where you've been. It's time we help our president out the same door he came in. Maybe it's time, we've been waiting far too long. Maybe it's time, maybe it's time. Comes a time, kings are through. Maybe it's time for you know who. Cause the wrong kind of people moving into the neighborhood.
I'm going to drop back a few years. There's a tune I've been doing for a while. It mentions war, so I wish it would go out of date, but it doesn't seem to. It's been talked about on corners, it's been talked about in cars, it's been overheard in boardrooms, it's been overheard in bars, it's been seen in public places, it's been difficult to hide, it's been seen out on the highway with its thumb out for a ride. Love's been seen alive, everyone's finding traces, love's been seen alive. At least expected places, times are getting harder now, but I know we'll survive, cause love's been seen alive. There's another war beginning, it's been waiting in the wings, fought for power, fought for hunger, for 1,000 other things. There's a poor man who's been crawling, a rich man standing tall. There's a world of people starving while there's food enough for all. But love's been seen alive, and we must all remember love's been seen alive. The storm won't last forever, clouds are rolling over now, but I know we'll survive, cause love's been seen alive. You have never made the papers, your picture doesn't sell,
project that well. All the movie men reject you. You just don't look the part. They're not auditioning for someone who is speaking from the heart. They have called you revolution, just a misdirected scheme. Put out warnings to the people, said you're just a rebel's scheme. They have crucified and stoned you, put a price upon your head, drew a bead on you in marches, left you in the streets for dead. Thought our love's been seen alive, though they break your bones, love's been seen alive. Ha! It's only sticks and stones. I believe in promises, and I know we'll survive, 'cause love's been seen alive. Love's been seen alive. Love's been seen alive. Love's been seen alive. Love's been seen alive.
I'm going to do my intros from the piano here. While our next artist is setting up, I'm going to ask, well, you're all set up. This is terrific. Okay, so our next artist is Jody Healy. First time to the living room as a solo artist, singer-songwriter. Her debut CD called Still Time. It's hot off the press with 17 original songs. And Fred Antaki is her arranger, accompaniment, friend, and works at Main Street Realtors. Both are friends of Russell Boucher, who plays on the title song of the CD, Still Time. Please give a warm welcome to Jody Healy and Fred Antaki.
Yes. So the first one's called Nothing as Nice as You. Do his phone and a solar watch, a ruby ring, and 10-year scotch. No one to tell me what to do. A simple life through and through. I'm happy as a lark, doing my own thing from dawn to dark.
sing on too, but I ain't got nothing as nice as you. I got a nice thing or two, nice thing or two, but I ain't got nothing as nice as you. I got a nice thing or two, nice thing or two, but I ain't got nothing as nice as you.
Okay, so we're going to have you sing, because I bet there's singers in the audience. It's called Water in the Well. The first time through, you'll hear what to do. We sing that 3 times. The 4th time, the words change, so pay attention.
So they can sing it, right?
Yeah.
There's no water, there's no water, there's no water in the well. There is no water, there's no water, there's no water in the well.
Gotta drop down deeper, drop down deeper, drop down deeper in the well. Gotta drop down deeper, drop down deeper, drop down deeper in the well. Everybody.
There is no water, there's no water, there's no water in the well. There is no water, there's no water, there's no water in the well.
It's not for me to fetch your water, fetch your water from your well. It's not for me to fetch your water, fetch your water from your well.
There is no water, there's no water, there's no water in the well. There is no water, there's no water, there's no water in the well.
Patience and work is all you need to bring your water from your well. Patience and work is all you need to bring your water from your well. There is water, life-giving water. There is water in the well. There is water, life-giving water. There is water in the well. There is water in the well.
There is
Water in the well. My mother's voice. This song I started when my mother passed away like 15 years ago, and then I finished it 12 years later when my father passed. So, and I used to not be able to sing without crying, but I never know. But it's the love.
What's it called?
My Mother's Voice. At my mother's funeral, I remember her words. 50 years when my heart was blown away from the ones that I love. I remember she'd say, move toward each other with all of your might. It doesn't really matter who's wrong or who's right. Goal of love within your sights. Move toward each other, let go of the fight. My frustrating husband, it wasn't love at first sight. We broke up 3 times because of our fights. His heat and his humor reeled me in once more. My mother's words lead us safely to shore. Every day I live, her words in my core. Now that I have 2 kids of my own, I won that fight, 2 countries at war. I hear her voice like never before. Move toward each other with all of your might. Doesn't really matter who's wrong or who's right. Go love, love within your sight. Move toward each other, let go of the fight. Move toward each other with all of your might. Move toward each other and find your delight.
Thank you, Jody. After I play a little bit, I'm going to ask Isaac Collins to the stage, and after that I'm going to ask Rico Baker, and after that it's going to be John David. The next performer is among my favorite artists in town. He is right up there at the top. Isaac puts himself out there on the street every day, and he puts it out there in the right way. We're blessed to have him. He's got to be over in San Jose for another gig at 9 o'clock. And welcome Isaac Eyes back to the stage.
It's so good to be here. I just want to say thank you, Tatanka. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, all the community people that have supported me through 12 years and have seen me grow. To each and one of you, if you do not know who I am, my name is Isaac Collins. I go by Lyrical I. I'm a public speaker. I'm a lyricist. I do a lot for Santa Cruz community, and Santa Cruz community does a lot for me. So thank you, Tatanka, for always looking after artists like me and just supporting artists like me, because I tell you one thing, it's very hard to do what I do in this town and get the support. So I thank you with the bottom of my heart, reaching out to guys like me. So thank you for that. I'm gonna do two pieces. I'm gonna do a singing piece by Gil Scott-Heron, and I'm gonna do a written piece. So I think I'm gonna do the written piece first, and I'll save the singing for the end. This poem is called I Write, and I wrote it in May. Right at the time when I felt like I needed to write something called I Write. So here we go. I want everyone to take a deep breath with me. One more time. Now here we go. I write to free my mind from everything I feel. I write to tell my life in stories that are my lifelines of struggle, living in Santa Cruz for all of these years. I write because I'm trying to learn to be better than I was yesterday. I write for my ancestors. I write to hear their wounds from their souls that are passed away every day. I write because I know the hard work will pay off in the end when I'm writing for the souls that needed me to write. I write for the ones that have been shot down on the streets. Why nobody never cares about them. See, I write for those ones that are shot down in the streets and no one really cares about them. I write because I like to release these dreams I have about life, performing on street corners and busking. I write because I love performing in Santa Cruz every single year. I write for the solidarity victims that are locked up in jail. I write for the relationships that didn't work out in my life, and I had to love myself again, again, and again. I write when I'm alone, because all I have is this notepad and a pen to write these words that went in. I write because I have more love than ever. I write. This is some Gil Scott-Heron. I like to, every time I get on stage, pay my respect to the elders. Gil Scott-Heron is the reason why there's lyricism in positive hip hop. If you do not know who Gil Scott-Heron is, I recommend you do your homework on him. So I'm gonna do a Gil Scott-Heron piece. I don't sing that much, but everyone tells me I got a nice voice, so I'm gonna sing. And I'm gonna sing this song from top to bottom. Here we go. Here I am, after so many years, hounded by hatred, trapped by fear. I'm in a box, I've got nowhere to go. If I follow my mind, I know I'll slaughter my own. Help me, I'm the prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you, brothers and sisters, I'm counting on you, yeah. Black babies in a womb, shackled and bound, chained by a caveman who keeps beauty down, smacked on an ass when they're sprawling and wet, to a man who never forgets, he is a prisoner. Can't you hear my plea? 'Cause I need somebody, Lord, to listen to me. I'm a stranger to my son who wonders why his daddy runs. On my way to work in the morning when I don't give a damn. Can't nobody see who the hell and who I am. Hemmed up by a suit, choked up in a tie. Ain't no wonder some mornings sometimes I hear my woman cry. She knows her man is a prisoner. Can't you hear my plea? 'Cause I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. That's some Gil Scott-Heron. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you to Tatanka for getting me up here again. Do I have one time to do one more?
Yes.
Alright. Now, I'm going to do a freestyle because I think a lot of people know me as a freestyle artist and written artist, so I want to do one more for you. I do this for the veterans on the street corners. I do this for the Ohlone tribes every single year when their spirit is alive. I do this for Loud Nelson because he gave all this money to Santa Cruz School District. I do this because being black in Santa Cruz is 2% of myself. I do this because every single year that I've been doing this, I got better every year. I do this when they're gentrifying our communities and raising the rent every single year. I do this for the mothers that are asking for their youth to come home from wars and to have opportunities to live. I do this for the people that are locked up in bars and don't get a chance to even live and breathe fresh air. I do this for our president, For the people that are not listening, that are not irrelevant, I do this for the culture because we need more in Santa Cruz. I do this for my ancestors because they taught me to speak. I do this for every single woman that was sexually molested and never had a man that gave them respect because we all came from women. I do this for every single youth that never had positive role models. But they needed people like you. And they needed people like you, and you, and you, and each one of you to save these souls from dying. I do this for my mother that passed away when I was 8 years old. And my grandmother that passed away on my 26th birthday. And my auntie that passed away on my 28th birthday. My other auntie that passed away on my 29th. And the other one that passed away on my 30th, 31, 32, and 33. I do this for all of those souls that couldn't be here to see that I'm rising for them. I do this for every single artist that had a dream, but they had to fight their way up to have their dream. And deal with the business when the people didn't even want to appreciate their value, so they kept on trying and trying and trying and trying again, until the point they got tired of trying and they had to move again. I do this because I love this. I do this because I wouldn't be fit working a 9 to 5 when they wouldn't even pay me enough to survive, when I know I'm not fit to be doing none of those jobs unless I'm working for my community. I do this for every single relationship that didn't work out in my life, because I chose poetry and hip-hop, and I will never stop doing what I love. So if relationships don't work out, I really don't care anymore. I'd rather love myself, and eventually someone will see the talent in me and realize I'm beautiful like you. I do this for every single person in Santa Cruz that can't even use the restroom, because they're locking up the bathrooms every night, and there is no place where people can even relieve themselves without going into the dishes. And I know it's not right, and the city council members say they will solve a problem, but they really haven't got it right. I do this for Tatanka. I do this for the elders that encourage me to be inspired. I do this for every single woman that I've heard sing a song and be inspired. That's Maya Angelou, that's Nina Simone, that's every single poet and writer that I can't name, but I'm going to tell you one thing, I love all of you. I do this because this is all I think about every day. Some days I cry when I feel like I can't do what I love, so I go to the ocean and I pray, and I watch the sunsets and natural bridges, and I think about how I made it this far in Santa Cruz for 12 years to even still be here. See, I do this because if I didn't do this, then what else would I do with my life? Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. Lyrical Eye. Looking forward to your CD, brother.
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay.
It's coming.
I'm going to invite a veteran for peace, a Vietnam War veteran, Rico Baker, who together with his wife, Clara Joy, and a couple other veterans founded the local here, Armistice 100. He's going to tell you a bit, spend a minute telling you why he's doing what he's doing, and he's bringing his bill, which is a former ordinance, a former weapon of death, which is now a peace bill. Rico Baker.
Wow, so much talent here. I'm just wondering if my voice is going to stand up to all of the beauty that I've already felt. It's something that I want to thank everybody here for being here with this energy. Tatanka, he comes to the meeting very supportive in what we're doing. How many of you know what armistice means? All right, pretty good. You know, it means to stop arming. And that's what they wanted to do after World War I. They said this war was so horrible that it's something that we have to outlaw. And they actually outlawed war shortly after. And, you know, it's actually still on the books. It's actually illegal to have wars. We've kind of got away from it, but anyway, we've been meeting once a month on the 11th because there's this number 11 that's related to Armistice Day. It was founded on or set up on the 11th of the month of November, 11/11 at 11 o'clock, and so there's something to that number that's really powerful. So I hope you'll come out and be with us on the 11th of each month as we're working up towards November 11th. On October 11th, as part of this movement towards Armistice Day, we're bringing here a person I want you to know about. And I'm just going to say the name of his books. His name is David Swanson. I love that, son of Swan. He's going to be here, and I'm going to tell you what the name of his books are. And if any of you feel moved to want to read these before he gets here in October, I'm hoping that you can just either give me something or nothing for these books, whatever you want, if the title moves you. One is War is Never Just. He does a really good job of showing that there's no such thing as a just war.
Or war for peace.
Curing exceptionalism. What's wrong with how we think about the United States?
Yeah.
Here's when he tells about after World War I, when the world outlawed war, it shows this gun all bunched up and tied in a knot. This is a kid's book, and I haven't looked it over yet, but it's called Tube World. It's something about kids having fun and learning how to live without war. So it's a wonderful idea. I'll have to read it before I can tell you more. And this is his major book, War is a Lie. I'm hoping that we can read his books and be prepared for when he's here in October. He's a real amazing person that's been working for peace. He's the one that founded, it's called War is, World Beyond War. So I'm going to ring you this bell. It's something that's symbolic. We ring it often at the beginning of our meetings. But it was given to me by a friend in Utah who has taken these military artillery shells and cut them so they ring really well. So this is the symbol from a shell to a bell. And if we think about that metaphor, how we move from being an empty shell to a ringing bell when we're really focusing on truth and beauty and peace. I'll leave you with this idea. I was meditating this morning. I shouldn't have been thinking about these things, but anyway, it came to me that peace is an inside job.
Thank you, Rico. All right. Our next artist, well, I'm going to give you the next two that are up. John David is with us, and he's going to play next, and then we're going to invite Sarah Nelson to the stage. So, how many of you heard John when he's played the last couple of... So, more than half of you, well, about half of you have heard him, and half haven't. Well, you are in for a real treat. This man is a dynamic singer, piano player, artist, and I'm just pleased as punch to have him. Take it away, David.
Howdy, folks. I don't have my cajon player tonight, so I won't be quite as dynamic. So I thought I'd do something a little different. There's like an echo when you sing here. Or, yeah, oh well. I guess I'll get used to it. You all know who Fats Waller was? This is one of his piano solos called The Viper's Drag. I hadn't gotten introduced to the piano. Finally, I'm a little more adjusted. Okay, so I almost feel like playing a little more than, let's see. I probably shouldn't, but it's so much fun. This is called Fats Waller's teacher, James P. Johnson, wrote The Carolina Shout. And Dugong Ellington called it his foundation. And then Fats rearranged it, and that's what I'll make an effort to play. This is a really challenging piece. Thank you. Yeah, so far so good. You get an idea of it anyway. I wish I'd started learning that a few years younger. Okay, so that means I don't have to do that. I guess I'll just do one more. And this is a world premiere. I finished it yesterday, so good luck. And it's called Stand Up for Standing Rock. Can you join me with a little boom boom? There's only, on the fourth line of the chorus there's a break. Otherwise it just keeps going. And if y'all would sing on the chorus, it's stand up with standing rock, stand up with standing rock. Water is life all around the clock, so stand up with standing rock. That's the chorus. Water is life all around the clock. Okay. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah. Black snake growing in the USA, polluting any water that gets in the way. also got to pay. It's time for us to stand up with Standing Rock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Water is life all around the clock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Water is life all around the clock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Prophecy foretold it would be like this. Black snake singing, can you hear it hiss? Delivering black gold for the profiteer's bliss. Well, bring about a better way. Stand up with Standing Rock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Water is life all around the clock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Come on, stand up with Standing Rock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Water is life all around the clock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Mother Earth is a gift where everyone lives. Take good care of her and the bounty she gives, and answer this call in the affirmative. Sing out now. Stand up with Standing Rock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Water is life all around the clock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Stand up with Standing Rock. Water is life all around the clock. Hey, stand up with Standing Rock. Thank you. Thank you so much. We need a band to record that and get that everywhere.
Wow. Oh, thank you, John David. That was sweet. Very sweet. What does that say there? Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Whoa. Okay, so that's, I feel really good to be doing this here in the Research Center for Nonviolence, yes? You know, it's not in the round, it's not set up in the round, but I feel the flow of energy with us. And our lives are to learn from these elders and to make it real. And we are so fortunate to have Sarah Nelson and Danny Sheehan and the whole Mishpoka, the whole Nelson Sheehan clan and friends working right here with us on the most important issues on the planet, on green power, on the issue of global warming, and the issue of, it's not just justice for the indigenous people, and it's not just a trial for a single man, Chase Iron Eyes. It's something that is so important to all of us, and I can think of no one better to bring that to our hearts and to connect the dots and to show how we can help than Sarah Nelson. Take the stage, Sarah. While she's walking there, I just want to say how wonderful it is to have you here, Sarah, because I know Chris Sherritts of Romero set up the 2 cameras here, so we are filming this. Normally he's here, but he's got to be back working tonight, and I know you have work that would keep you up all night if you didn't have to sleep, so thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. Is this the right one? Am I standing in front of the right one?
Closer,
okay,
yeah.
I miss all of you. You know, we used to get together, you know, every other week or once a month when we were working on constitutional protection zones. And then when the Romero Institute took on climate change, it's really round the clock. I mean, we hardly see anyone. So, but we are totally clear. Gee, something's happening. Is another one on?
Maybe try the other one.
We're going to try to
be happening.
Speaker up close.
Hello?
Yeah, that's good.
Is that better? Okay, so I was just saying that we're just all really clear that this is the mission now, and that 2020 is the turning point for climate, which we didn't know until Danny and I were at a meeting in Rome that we had to go to for climate, and this woman was there. Her name is Christine Figueres. She's the UN expert on climate. And she said, look, you know, we're all there to talk about divestment and to learn about how divestment from the banks that are funding the fossil fuel industry and divestment from the fossil fuel industry itself, that these things could work and that they needed to be done, and all the stats that have been developed on them, etc. And she was there speaking, and she said, look, I know some of you think that the turning point for climate is the middle of this century or maybe the end, but I have to tell you today that it's not, it's 2020. And so the curve of global warming continues to go up. Sometimes it flattens out, starts to go up again. She said by 2020, the end of 2020, it's got to start going down. Even if it's just a little bit, it's got to start going down, because if we start to go down at the end of 2020, we will be able to gradually go down and avoid some of the worst catastrophes that are coming. But if we don't, we'll be unable to drop fast enough. You know, because the bureaucratic institutions, all the things, the economy, everything that has to respond to dropping, to cooperate and collaborate in bringing it down, they won't be able to move fast enough. So that's why the end of 2020 is so important. And of course, we had 3 hurricanes last year. I mean, we had Houston, we had Florida, and we had Puerto Rico, which got completely screwed. And that's, you know, when you think about it, I mean, there's a limit to how much our emergency response is going to be able to respond. You know, and there's a limit to the funds that are going to be available for emergency response. Now we've got all these fires going again in the West, and we're just in the beginning of this. It is so unbelievably serious that we just, a lot of us now at the Romero Institute, not everybody, but half of us, just work all the time. Because it doesn't make sense to us not to do that. Because we don't have very much time between now and the end of 2020. And I want to thank people in this room that have helped fund this work. And I'm here to talk tonight about Standing Rock, because it's a message of hope. I mean, I'm bringing you good news. I'm not starting out very well. but I always like to put things in context. What is the time we're living in? And we're living in climate change, which is, in my opinion, the greatest injustice that has ever been perpetrated on the human family and all the other living systems. And the Romero Institute deals with justice issues, where our mission is to expose and address systemic injustice and to help put in systemic solutions. I think this is unbelievable, what's happened here. And we have to come to grips with the fact that it's mainly the fossil fuel industry that has been driving this. Yes, we have bought the cars, we have driven the cars, we have had the gas heat, the this heat, the that heat. We've all done this together, but there is an industry that has profited for a long time, and that knew in the 70s what climate change was and that they were causing it. And covered it up, hired the same kind of PR people that tobacco did to tell us that it was confusing, no one really knew the science of it, oh well, there's not really climate change, it's just a liberal conspiracy theory. And so there will come a time, I believe, when the expense of it will be so great that the states will begin to sue the industry in the same way that they began to sue tobacco for the medical costs, because they just couldn't pay for it anymore. And when we get there, then, you know, then there'll be some sort of titans fighting with one another. Right now it's the people, and if the people don't rise up, and if we as the people don't do everything that we can do, we're in very deep trouble. But I think in time, there will be these struggles that will occur between larger institutions that should have acted a long time ago to protect all of us and didn't. That they will around the question of money eventually. And so, Standing Rock is the most visible. I'm not saying there aren't other conflicts on the planet that are nose to nose the people up against the fossil fuel industry. But Standing Rock is probably the most visible, and it's visible globally. People from all over the world came to support the Lakota people who were trying to protect the only source of drinking water that they have. And they are looking at what happened to Flint. Flint had terrible drinking water. They brought them bottled water for a while, and then they said, we don't want to do that anymore. You know, everyone knows that if they lose the drinking water at Standing Rock, they lose the entire tribe. It'll scatter. It can't, that's their land. That's where they live. And that's where their whole community is. That's how they have their nation. And they will lose everything if they lose their water. And people around the world understood this. They understood in their hearts that the poorest people in the United States were standing up against the most powerful industry in the world, along with the banks that fund them. And so they came. They came. Thousands and thousands came. And they're still alive in people's hearts. And while it's not as dramatic what's going on right now, and it's not in the news all the time, and it's not on live streaming all the time, it is very dramatic what is actually happening. And Danny, whom you all know, Danny Sheehan, and now 9 others, we have a team of 10 people there. A couple interns arrived from Harvard. One of them is a Lakota person who is getting a PhD in sort of the history of genealogy and the history of people and tribes. And she's going and interviewing a lot of the Lakota people about their experiences during the Standing Rock movement and gathering information for the case and stuff. But there are 4 lawyers. There are 4 people on the digital and documents team, and there are these 2 interns, and they're working constantly. Danny, we finally broke through. For 6 months, the other side blocked and refused to show up to depositions, refused to respond to subpoenas, refused to turn over documents, and we had to go to the judge and try to get the judge. We had to remove a judge. This is the 3rd judge. And this judge is good. I mean, so far so good. And we finally got him in the beginning of June he lost his patience with the other side. And in 15 minutes, he ruled on 16 motions, all of them in our favor. And it was really great. And basically the bottom line is he said to the other side, in this case all law enforcement and prosecution people, because we were starting wanting to put people under oath who were in law enforcement, who, rounded people up, falsely charged them. 843 people were falsely charged with crimes they didn't commit. And so, we want to talk to these people under oath. And it's really great, because when people go under oath, sometimes they stop lying and they start telling the truth. And all these people were lying. So, and the good news is they are starting to tell the truth. And so the pieces of the truth are slowly being put into the mosaic every day, because there's depositions every day. And there will be, up until probably the middle of September. And anyway, he told them in the beginning of June, that's it. You got 14 days to show up. Sometime in 14 days you show up for your deposition. You, the prosecutor, has to be there, or find somebody else in your office to go. And you, sheriff, who's been deposed, you show up. Or you know, you risk being held in contempt. So finally he did that. And so they're showing up. They're coming to the depositions. They're going under oath. They're talking. And the truth is unfolding. And it's really encouraging because what we all know is true is true. You know, the illegalities were not on the side of the Lakota people and their allies. The illegalities were on the other side. But we have to put this mosaic together. We have to be able to prove this so that it's clear and there's no confusion about it. And we're videotaping almost all the depositions so that there's a public education record of exactly who said what. Because why? Why would we? This is very expensive. I'm doing that part, the fundraising. This is very expensive, but legal stuff always is, but when you win legally, you can change the law, you can improve the law, you can advance on the law, you can take the law that you win and make it available to everybody else in the future who faces the same challenge. So this is a fight not only for the truth at Standing Rock and to show that all of these people, some of who's already had their trials, which are usually only about 3 hours long, that all of them, for the most part, are innocent. But it's also a fight to set precedents that will protect all future water and land protectors. And in this time of climate change, there's going to be more and more people standing up and saying, no, wait a minute, no. You know, you're trying to put pipelines throughout our entire country. This is natural gas and oil, and we need to shift to renewables. To save our lives, we need to do this. So more people are going to stand up. And we also need to protect our water. So more people are going to stand up. We're trying to establish precedents up there that will protect these people, because it's very clear to us that the fossil fuel industry is trying to do the opposite. They're trying to put together a template in Standing Rock that they can use all over the country and all over the world. And basically the template is, if you think that you're going to protest a pipeline, well, you better think twice. Because we'll keep you tied up in litigation for over a year, even if you didn't do anything. And that's what they've done. They've kept these people going around in circles over being afraid they're going to go to prison or to jail, and their fines, and they have to somehow find a lawyer, and all of this stuff for a year, and they're not guilty of anything. So this is the template, and they're going around. The Koch brothers are funding this, going around to the states, trying to get legislation passed in all these different states that say, if you are protesting a pipeline, you are an eco-terrorist. So, yeah, because you're protesting infrastructure, or you're interfering with infrastructure, and pipelines are infrastructure. So what does that mean? That means that you can be prosecuted under the Patriot Act. You know, you can be prosecuted, you have less rights because you're a terrorist. And they really want to get protesters who are protesting for the environment and protesting pipelines to be categorized as terrorists so that it's easier to crush them. So that's another thing that's going on there. And so, you know, then of course there's the question of the treaties. I mean, they're accusing people of trespassing on lands that have been their lands for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And there's no clear title to the not being there. I mean, they've taken it and stuff, but there's no clear title. And therefore, where Chase and the other 73 people were the day that they all got arrested, they were doing a religious ceremony. They had every right to do it. But then we have to bring in the whole history of the treaties. And we have to explain. And it was clear already in the interviews with the law enforcement people, they don't know anything about the treaties. Never even occurred to them that they might have the right to do a religious ceremony on that plot of land. So, and of course we're going to bring in the necessity defense. The necessity defense is very, very important because, to the future of all of us, Because the necessity defense says, you know what? They were protesting because even if they get accused of doing direct action or bothering somebody, it's way less of a evil than what's coming. But for them, what was coming is the loss of their source of water, the loss of their tribe, the loss of the future for their children, all of that. And so it was a necessity for them to take action. By the same token, increasingly, it'll be a necessity for all of us to take action to save the planet. And we need to have that necessity defense. We need to have it established that when you are trying to save lives, hundreds, thousands of lives from death and destruction, it's okay if you have to demonstrate in front of a so-called infrastructure pipeline in order to get your point across. We do have free speech in this country. So the necessity defense is really important. We're not the only ones fighting on it. There are other places in the country where people are bringing it forward, but it isn't as clearly established as we're hoping we can achieve at Standing Rock. And that would be putting something in place in terms of legal precedent that will help all of us as we go forward in this period of time. So all of these things are happening. It's a daily battle. Danny finally, because the judge told them this, that they had to show up at these depositions, he finally got the list of 27 witnesses that the opposition has, and so he has to put all those people under oath and question them. There's 27. He's in the process of doing that now. And because they backed it up so long and blocked and everything, it's all jammed. So he had 7 scheduled in one day last week and 4 in another day. I mean, he is working like round the clock practically. But we're going to get through those 27, and then we have 60 of ours to do. And some of them are in other places. Like he'll have to go to North Carolina to do Tiger Swan, the mercenaries, the militarized private security company that's an offshoot of Blackwater. That's where they're located. And he'll have to go to Texas, where Energy Transfer Partners is located, their headquarters. That's the big conglomerate that ran the Dakota pipeline. And then there are other places in the country that they'll have to go to do those depositions. And fortunately, for those of you who know about the history of our work, Bill Taylor is now on the scene. He's been our chief investigator in every major case we've ever done. And he really is experienced, and he's experienced at covert stuff, at this whole private militarized business. And we're very glad that he was available to come and join us. So the team just kind of is muscling up for this. And I want you to know that we are winning. It's been a battle because they're afraid of the truth. They do not want the public to understand what really happened at Standing Rock. And we are completely determined to develop the record of truth. And have it on videotape so we can put together the story and it can go out in all different ways and move through the country about what the heck was this really all about. I mean, there are other movies that are very good, but this will be the one of the legal record. And so the thing is that I just want you to know we're winning, and it's worth it, and it's significant. It's not minor, it's major in terms of what's at stake. Our very constitutional rights to assembly and free speech, our right to protest in this democracy is at stake in this case. And so it's all, a lot's on the line here, and I commit to you that our team is not going to give up under any circumstances. They're on it, and they're totally committed, and every dollar that I know some of you in this room have given is being used wisely and efficiently, and we are determined to get this done. And I want to ask you please to hold all of this in your heart, because some of it's dangerous now. It's just like the Iran-Contra case and some of the other Silkwood case, the things we've done in the past. This is not a piece of cake, because Tiger Swan is among the worst. in terms of their skills and activities. And the pipeline industry, the oil industry, is among the worst when it comes to how they deal with their opponents. But we are operating on faith, and we know we're on the right track. We know that this is about justice, and we have no doubt that we're guided to do it. So nobody's afraid, but it is going to be a hill, a mountain to climb, and I would just appreciate if you would hold us all in your heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for what you're doing with and for all of us. Thank you so much. Okay. Now I get to introduce my favorite poet in the whole world, who I just happen to have the great privilege of living with. Please welcome back by popular demand the effervescent, the sexy, the unpredictable, the purple people meter. Oh, that's good. That's M-E-E-T-E-R and M-E-T-E-R, because she does have the meter going. Please welcome Carol Lowenstein. The stand is right behind you if you need that. Okay.
We are holding all of you in our hearts, Sarah. And we send energy and love and protection. And she's walking out the door. But I would say we are all, I can only speak for me, but willing to be called to do whatever we can. This could be a mix. Well, I am going to do some poetry. I'm going to sing a song. I'm going to tell you a couple of things also, and I think I'm going to do that first. Tatanka has no clue what I'm doing. And you can give me a signal for time. How about that? I want to tell you a little about that guy over there, my honey pie. So he doesn't know I'm doing this either. But he does a lot of work in the dream state for the greater good. And he's working on lots of levels all the time. You know, he is a clairvoyant. I don't think many people know this. And he never will promote himself. He's always promoting his friends. And I just want you to know that he's amazing, and if you ever would want him to do a reading or to help you in some area, ask him. He's quite extraordinary, and people do call from all around the country who know who he is and the depth of work he does. So I think they ought to know. He's a major connector. He would so much stand for you and connect you with people and situations that would be wonderful for you and for what moves your heart and soul. That's just who he is. He's a major connector. And yeah, so I just want to say that. He's amazing, isn't he? I also want to just say I am in such awe of the gorgeous and brilliant gifts that have been given tonight. We are so blessed. So this is just, how did we end up here with, isn't it incredible? So imagine, I'm going to project a vision that the next time we gather, think of the people that you would love to have here to experience this. So I'm actually going to call on you to think of that when we send out this info, that you bring some people here. We'll put that in the thingy. And I also want to say thank you. The gifts that you've given, the donations for this amazing event. First goes, we pay rent for this room and rent for the yummy room, and we have to pay that by the hour. And then everything else goes to Romero. Everything else. So we are standing for Standing Rock. That's why we're here. We're also here to all be together. So that, I had to say that. I'll say one more thing about me and something, and then I'll do poetry and stuff. So some of you went to hear Ilana Freeland, or have heard her before, yes? All right, amazing. Kind of a wake up for some of the toxicity in both what's coming down onto the earth and also electromagnetically, right? And some of you came to hear Brian Clement from Hippocrates, who spoke about heavy metals and toxins and all that sort of thing. Hey, you know, we may have shifted our lives for what we eat and surround ourselves with over time, but we still did all that stuff in the past. So, I have something written here I wanted to say. So this is a powerful time right now to clear. I'm going to do a little get-together here tomorrow night at 7 in a little room, and then Saturday at 11 in the little room. I'm working with a detox that clears mercury, heavy metals, mycotoxins, molds, cyanotoxins, pesticides, Roundup, herbicides, solvents, and I'll just say, have you ever seen guys paint a house and then wash their hands with turpentine? Just saying. Ever seen goyles color their hair and do wipe off the, right? Okay. We don't even think about that. Endotoxins, endocrine disruptors, and toxins, you know, etc., etc. So I'm working with something with a guy who's world renowned for clearing these things, and I'll just share. You know, you can come learn about it. I'm getting ready to step into the stage 4 of an intensive part of the detox. There's some little levels of it. You can just learn about it. You can do it if you want. Anyway, I feel like this is a time when we clear these things, because they can prevent us from absorbing the nutrients, even if we're really wise and we know how to take really healthy supplements. Some of these elements keep us from absorbing them. So I think at this time, when we are called to be in our strength and in our calm, emotional balance center, it might be useful, I find it so, to clear this stuff that is disrupting our deepest connection with who we are and why we're here. Just saying. So, tomorrow night at 7 and Saturday at 11. I just want to say that. All right, not enough stuff. I thought I lost my poetry. I didn't. You know what a haiku is? You know, you have so many. Here's one. What's to say? Oh, excuse me. Who's to say what is when we're in the middle of an awakening? This pregnant now, energies clearly felt, senses intent alive. Sensed, intent, alive. The presence of elements gathering, energy and atoms swirling, coalescing, spinning, living forces, vision gathered into form, calling my alertness to see the unseen, to know it in the now. Old patterns flail forward, echoing from the depths of lifetimes, desperately forward from past experiences, flowing doubt to protect me from expressing my true knowing, to cover me from my inner power, throwing out a clouded cloak of unknowing, dismissing the clearly sensed unseen. Caw, caw. I need no protection. I claim my inner knowing. Caw, caw. What will be, I summon now. Now, in this galaxy of a moment, I call forth source, energy, imprinting, calling forth the form to be my vision, my purposeful expression in this present, pregnant now of quantum goo. Caw, caw. Pouring in. I see you in my vision, formless to form. I welcome you in every area of my life, pouring my cup to overflowing. Ah, this pregnant now. This is such a time. We have the power of our being to put our attention on what we want to bring forward and manifest here. Yes? Yes. So every choice we make has potent power, and we don't want to give our power away to the hypnotic noise out there. Yes? Yes. Good to be discerning and to be in choice. Even when I go into my favorite bathroom that's all gender, I make it ceremonial that I am honoring all parts of who I am, male and female, animal, plant, all of it. I honor all of the parts of who I am, and I go open that door and step in and do what I need to do. But it's a ceremony of honoring, and we can do that in all the little itty bitty things. So I just had to say that. You know? I'm gonna do one more thing. Okay. I wrote, when my kids were young, little, I wrote a lullaby. Nobody's really heard me sing. Nuri bani, Nuri bani, over your horizon a star is shining, beckoning to you, sparkling, brilliant blue. Nuri bani, Nuri bani, come sail away across the cosmic, come sail away across the cosmic sea. Set your course to the song, the calling melody. Nuri, wow, I gotta practice this one. Yeah. Nuri bani, Nuri bani, come sail away. Serenely in your sky, a blue star is singing songs of love to thee, divine love's harmony. Nuri bani, Nuri bani, come sail away beside your shining friend. The music of the seas, the whistling of the breeze. Nuri bani, whoosh, raise your sail and go.
Thank you, Carol.
Yeah.
Someday I hope you'll get to meet your two kids. They're amazing, and they're both in the music industry. We have 3 more performers tonight. The next one is Paul Damon, Vietnam vet for peace, amazing songwriter and performer, backed by popular demand. Wow. How many of you have heard Paul sing before? Raise your hand. Oh, maybe half. Maybe half. I don't know if Paul's going to be talking at all, so I'll just mention that he was one of the ones that went back to Selma a 3 months ago, and they found a house there that we're all going to be able to, through the Resource Center for Nonviolence, go back and continue to do work with people in Selma. And it was a very powerful experience for Paul, among all the other powerful experiences in his life. So welcome, Paul. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's a right time for healing in these troubled times. Put your heart in my hand. Together we'll walk through fire. A burning desire to see humanity understand in unity. Will I bleed when you bleed in my bones and on your stones? But our love is here for eternity. Call me home only when my work is done. For service to mankind, the kind of man I wish to see more of in me. So I work hard every day to find the ways to play, to release my pain, so you may know my joy. As together we explore our beautiful world. It's a rough time feeling here in these troubled times. Put your heart in my hands. Together we'll walk through fire and desire to see humanity understand in unity. Well, I bleed when you bleed in my bones and on your stones. But our love is here for eternity. Call me home. Take a knee, find a tree, release your hand to me, and hold me close to the dark times you know. Together you're never alone. Now speak your truth, know you can be. Anything you speak into me. It's a rough time healing here in these troubled times. Put your heart in my hand. Together we'll walk through fire, burning desire to see humanity understand in unity. Well, when we bleed in our bones and on the stones. But our love is here for eternity. Call me home. Call me home. Call me home. Only when my work is done. Only when my work is done. Only when my work is done. It's a wrap time for healing here in these troubled times. Put your heart in each other's hands and walk through fire. From burning desire to see humanity understand in unity. Well, I bleed when you bleed in my bones and on your stones. But our love is here for eternity. Call me home. Call me home. some songs, don't know what to play. I'm just so moved by everybody's sharing this evening. My understanding of it. Myself and 6 other veterans went back and stood at the front line of the first Veteran March. It really allowed me to remember why I served in the first place. Will you lay your tears on my shoulders? Will you let your weight be known? Will you call your fears your owners? Will you forever stand alone? Why do I feel like I wanna cry, but no tears fall way down the ranges roam? Heaven sent and hell bends now to save us all. You lay your tears on my shoulders. Will you let your weight be known? Will you call your fears your owners? Will you forever stand alone? Will you call to me when you're ill? Will you call to me when you're brave? Will you call to me when your answers fall short and you can't fight your way home from the pain? We lay your tears on my shoulders. Will you let your weight be known? You call your fears your owners. Will you ever stand alone? Lay your tears on my shoulders. Will you let your weight be known? You call your fears your owners. Will you forever stand alone? Will you forever stand alone? What do you burn for? What do you burn for? Tell me, child, what does this life have in store? What do you burn for? What do you burn for? Tell me, child, what does this life have in store? Lord, reconciliation is an info God of blessed nation. Peace come from within. Amen, amen. Oh, do you burn for? your bones. Always trying to remove the mother from home. Take the art and the music no more. Teach your children to sing to heaven's door. What do you burn for? What do you burn for? Will you lay your life down for what they have in store? What do you burn for? What do you burn for? Holy heaven, here come one more. Holy heaven, here come one more. What do you burn for?
Thanks for putting all this together, Lou.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Wow. So we have two more newcomers that are going to just take 3 to 4 minutes each. Nicholas Constant is a playwright, a poet. He's lived in England, he's lived in South Africa, and it's a pleasure to invite you up. Nicholas.
Is this the one?
Yeah.
I just want to say to that soldier singer there, wow, that moved me a lot, because I spoke in the high schools when the draft was trying to be reinstated under President Carter. I was one of a team of people who spoke in the high schools about conscientious objection and real nonviolence, and so I met many soldiers at the time, and I came to respect them and love them, and that was hard because I'm a total pacifist, but that meant a lot to me. Yeah, I did live in South Africa, and English born, and one of the things I learned in South Africa was the power of the native people, the Zulus, the Swanas, the Swazis. My parents were very involved in initiating the liberation movement in South Africa. And now coming into America, I've learned to understand and feel that great spirit that moves through the native people. And I think the salvation of America is going to come through the native spirit. I really do believe that. The poem I chose today is called Fake Education. Fake Education. And I want you to picture Native American kids being taught by white people and being told a bunch of lies or semi-truths, because that's what this is about. History that's false is what they teach. History that's full of bleach. It's been whitewashed to the ground, taking out the sound and fury of the people's voice. They don't tell it like it is or was. They tell it like it's redesigned, facts of reality reassigned, or leave a vacuum instead of what you need, the story of a nation's ugly greed. Poor teachers got to tell their tale, fool the kids with something stale. Meanwhile, good deeds of their grandmas and their grandpas are well hid. Your folks did not make history. The wealthy did. Teachers got to stick to the curriculum, not stick it to the powers that be. So teacher tells the kid with questions, we rewrote history for you, you clown. Just suck it up and swallow down. Mass media will get kids hypnotized, anesthetized, consumerized. The plan is they will learn a skill or get a trade so they can buy those endless bits of shiny stuff that turn us old to jade. It's time to rise. Get out of the box. Cut the chains on education. Cut through all the locks. Take a stand with teachers who teach freedom. Be a man or fighting woman. Insist on learning truth, the bright and burning truth. For knowledge is a pearl so valuable, it has no price. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Michael Keenan plays the auto harp and has a poem to share, and he has also 3 or 4 minutes.
We gotta fight together.
Thank you, Michael. And then I'm going to do a very quick piano number, and we will sing Ahateneo and be on our way.
Thank you for a friendly forum. So I feel to lead, to offer what we can always have access to, and that's nature. And we're constantly under stressors, and so if we're going to be in the long haul of life and pass on any strength, courage to our offspring, or the one younger than us, there's got to be renewal. So I'll start out with this poem I wrote after I read the flyer. Which I read today. I say, let go of resistance. Listen to the path of love's insistence. Be kind to your own kind. Pave the way for peace. So I love the sun and warmth of summer, and a week ago I looked at my phone and saw that Big Sur was going to be in the 80s. So I packed up my van and drove down there. The Big Sur River had me feeling like an animal again as it lured me downstream. Found the right spot to enjoy a river bath. The water worked as usual, the temperature just right, body fully awake. Moving on, grazing on beauty, while gazing into an aqua turquoise pool with a trout scouting the bottom. Suddenly, swimming out of a hidden spot under a stump, Mama Merganser and her 4 young apprentices. Rich royal colors she wore. The young'uns were about 1/3 of her size. All of them gave me the unapproving eye. They paddled downstream, and I chuckled, thinking, if I slowed my pace, I would notice more. Yet it was not easy to be calm. I was bubbling inside, looking and listening and traveling the watercourse. Monster piles of big trees slammed against each other. Sandbars, shimmering rock gardens, rapids, mystery pools, lush trees shading me, live art saturating me. All this under a benevolent sun. On the longest day of the year.
I just couldn't let Michael's song go. Nice. So thank you all for being here. It'll be 3 months before we gather here again on September 19th, which will be right at the solstice. And between now and then, all the depositions will have been taken. And they'll be ready for trial, which begins the first week of November, the same week as the election is happening. If any of you has a wonderful idea about how to support Romero, some wild, crazy fundraising idea, don't hesitate to share it. I have a bunch of films I want to share next month, but I hear that very few people ever show up during the summer, but I am going to show one. It's a new film on Costa Rica and how they actually created a country without an army. And I haven't seen it yet, but I got it from my friend David Hartsoe and from Bullfrog Films. And it's the same film that Kiko is back in Japan, kind of getting for $500 or $1,000 bucks, but I think that one has subtitles that they can understand in Japanese. But look for that. I'll let you know about that. And everybody have a wonderful summer, and thank you for being here. And this brother who gave me this song, he's not Iroquois, but he brought this back from back east about 20 years ago. Ah, Taneo, ah, Taneo, ah, Taneo, ah. Now the Mother Earth and the Father Sky, reaching, touching one another, helpmates, helpmates ever they. Ah, Taneo, ah, Taneo, ah, Taneo, all is beautiful, all is beautiful, all is beautiful indeed in me. Ah, Taneo, ah, Taneo, ah, Taneo, nay. We'll do it all over again, because Native people sing the verses at least 4 times. One for each direction, one for each world, one for each energy, north, south, east, west, animals, plants, minerals, human, receiving, giving, holding, and determining. Now the Mother Earth and the Father Sky, reaching, touching one another, helpmates, helpmates ever they. Ah, Taneo, ah, Taneo, ah, Taneo, ah, nay.
Ahataneo, Ahataneo, Ahaneo. Thank you for being here. Good night.